to a patch notes description reaction. We're going to see what's happening in Multiversus in the new update for July 26th. It is the open beta now. Everybody can get in the game, hop in, and they just added LeBron James, which is even better. I've got my coins. I'm ready to drop on him to unlock him. It's exciting. A bunch of new players and a lot of people who didn't know how to get into the closed beta are finally going to be able to hop in, and either you're going to dominate or get dominated by Finn, I think, because he seems like with him being in the new free character rotation 726 to 88, Finn, Garnet, Superman, and Raindog is going to be in the character rotation. So that means you don't have to spend coins on these characters, but that does mean you have to spend coins on characters like if you really enjoyed playing Harley Quinn, you now have to buy her. Or which is my story. Or what was another one? Jake. You gotta spend money on those characters, those coins, which kind of sucks if you've been saving for LeBron and you didn't expect to that characters were gonna get rotated out. But that's okay. We're learning, right? That's what it's about. We know now that they're gonna rotate characters in and out, and they're gonna add characters really fast. So it's gonna be kind of hard to save up. But also, if you want, you can always drop some hard-earned cash for those characters. It'll be interesting because you're going to see a new meta emerge without Taz being in here, and I think a lot of new characters would have resonated with Taz, but now that they're not, it's a bit of a different story, you know. We have a new event. It's the open beta warp event. It says, for a limited time, gold earned from matches has increased by 25% from 726 to 88. As an open beta welcome event, which is awesome because that means if you enjoyed the character Harley Quinn or Taz, you can save up for them a lot quicker, because everyone knows if you've been playing the closed beta that gold is a grind. But for any new players coming in, it's going to be pretty easy for you to save up for a couple characters, but it slows down incrementally as you go on, and some characters are more expensive than others. So with that, we have our characters that they go over. If you see a plus by him, it means a buff. If you see a minus by him, it means a nerf. It's funny because I only see, I think, nerfs. If you see the little swirly sign thing, it's a change. So, interestingly enough, I didn't expect them to do anything with Batman, but apparently the game developers saw something in Batman that they didn't like, and they didn't like his combos. Batman's kit, if you know, it's completely around him throwing that batarang and landing those batarang attacks, because if he doesn't, he's kind of useless. Like, if you don't know how to play him, like, there's very simple variations of characters, and then you learn the advanced ways. So to begin, air, ground, neutral attack. The cooldown on batarang increased from 13 seconds to 14 seconds. Picks up the batarang, returns 11:55 seconds, up from 11:05 seconds. This means that the minimum time between batarang throws is 2.45 seconds, up from 1.95 seconds. And it says batarangs. It's cool they put these little notes underneath. Batman's batarang pickup cooldown created very small windows where the batarang wasn't in play. This change should make it so the opponents of Batman have a larger window between batarang attacks to gain advantage. And then they fixed a bug for his air ground side special. Fixed a bug where a grapple would sometimes shoot you off the map. We're going to go over these characters. We're going to break it down, right? So like I said, I think they saw the Batman's batarang being used too much, and if that batarang lands and you can combo someone and then it explodes, you can juggle them again and combo them into the air until you knock them out of the map or to the left. It's super situational, but typically if you're playing a character like Iron Giant or a bigger character maybe like Garnet or Superman, and Batman lands that batarang, it's gonna hit most of the time, right? And it's punishing because he gets it back so fast, and he can keep sticking you with it and keep doing these juggle combos, and it doesn't become fun fighting him. There's no other tactic. And you're going to see that with a lot of trends with these characters that they fixed. They fixed to where it's going to be actually interesting to fight them, you know what I mean? And I think that's the goal of the game, is not to just be they don't want to just see spamming. They want to see interesting movesets. They want to see the whole entire kit being used. But they also recognize that the advanced part of the kits, and one of that is the batarang, but it's got to be rewarding to land those batarangs. And I think that's what they want to do. The developers want to do. That's what WB wants to do. Or Player First Games, sorry. So Bugs Bunny. This is an interesting one also I didn't see coming. His air up attack. The startup window increased by 2 frames. Active window decreased by 2 frames. So the hitbox made it so that Bugs Bunny hit nearly all around himself. This should make the up air a bit more reasonable to deal with. Now, I thought with Bugs Bunny that this was what he does. I thought that was his powerful move. If you fight Bugs Bunny in this game, for anyone new or returning players, you know Bugs Bunny just spams it's not necessarily spam. It's just a bunch of random bullshit that heads your way. You got safes up in the air getting launched at you. You got rockets flying around the map. You got him digging holes to launch pies at you through the ground. And essentially, I think what they want to do is reward those plays more than the down spike attacks, or I mean the air up attacks, because I didn't know, but I didn't know the hitbox on those was so wide that it was an issue, and I thought like this is just something in his kit. This is how you balance him out. So I think Bugs Bunny might get less play these days. I really didn't think there was much Bugs Bunny, but if you learn him, you would get like it's hard to fight. You're like, oh, geez, I gotta avoid all these random things. It's like the game becomes less of a fighting game and more of like a manage items on the map game. And if you're a good player, you can deal with that. If you're a neutral player, it's a bit overwhelming. And so I think they want to reward more of that random aspect of Bugs Bunny and less of the spikes and spamming the air up attacks and stuff. I didn't know that it had 2 extra frames. I didn't know that. So here's the one everyone expected. Iron Giant right here. Air down attack. It can no longer combo into itself. His ground air special can no longer repeatedly hit and lock opponents in place forever. And his air up attack can no longer repeatedly hit opponents. Now, I am guilty of using these tactics, okay? And I knew it was abusing something in this game. Like I didn't think it would be considered a bug. I thought it was part of his kit. Like, because he's big, he has more of like he can hit you consistently because he's bigger. But when he lands those blows, it's gonna be rewarding. I think this nerf may make Iron Giant not entirely useless, but definitely less picked, because the thing with Iron Giant is he's slow, and every time you land a blow, it needs to be rewarding, and you need to be able to do damage. And when you landed those airdrops or when you landed those air spins, it was that rewarding damage you were able to put in, and the fact that you're not able to do that now isn't cool in my opinion. I really enjoyed what you can do. It was a bit you can kind of abuse it a little, because that air down attack, you can hit them, and if you keep pressing down Y, it would hit, and I think it's like 10 damage every time. You could get someone from like 50 damage to 250 damage within less than 10 seconds. And same, the air up special, you could launch them into the stratosphere and knock them out of the map. It's definitely something, if you're a good player, I think you know how to avoid it, but it's also, say you fight teams, it's harder to avoid, right? There's so much more happening on the map, and I think that's what they're balancing towards. I think they're balancing towards teams. I don't think they're balancing towards 1v1s. All right, so Steven Universe, he has an air neutral attack. I've maybe fought 2 Steven Universes in this entire game. It knocks opponents up and away to prevent an infinite attack caused by alternating air down and air neutral attack. I have gotten caught in these combos though, for people who have learned it, and I'd say that's pretty reasonable. I can't really speak on Steven Universe honestly that much until I get to learn his kit or play him. But I hope all of these Steven Universe's mains aren't too pissed off by that. I don't know how useful he is or how viable he is in a kit, but I'm sure the Play First Games has a radar on what characters are being used and which aren't. This is the big one, Taz. So bug fix. Fixed a bug that was preventing Taz from doing any aerial attacks once he reached his air special limit. If anyone who didn't know, which is pretty interesting, if you would go into Taz and you do your aerial tech or like a spin or something, and you go to the left of the map and you're off the map, you cannot do anything to get back on that map, and that would cause you to get an easy knock sometimes. So they kind of help Taz a little. But the big thing, air ground side special. If you have been following early access, Taz's Tornado has been dominating his character kit and presenting a non-obvious challenge check for new players. By reducing its effectiveness, we hope to improve his gameplay health and loop and bring the game to a healthier state for new players. So they've decreased the Tornado's duration and the additional duration gained by passing an ally, removed one of the multi-hits of the Tornado, decreasing the hit pause of all the hits in the Tornado, And so I think that helps you dodge out of it. And reduce knockback from the final hit in the tornado from 1,375 to 1,275. That's still a big number though. Right now our plan is to transition the tornado to a cooldown move in an upcoming patch. The tornado has a signature move, so we want to keep it as one of his most powerful attacks, with the cooldown forcing more intentional use of it. These nerfs will reduce Taz's strength, especially at higher levels of play, so expect some buffs to the other moves in his kit in the near future. Thank you for your patience, and we'll continue to evaluate Taz's gameplay health. Alright, I'm going to just tell you guys, they're going to turn Taz into sort of like a, I think with this last little note, they're going to turn Taz into sort of more of like a Velma-based character, where you're going to have all these cooldowns you got to manage in your fight. So say you use that Taz tornado, it's going to punish you if you miss it, so land it and plan it out. But the thing with Taz is his neutral moves and his regular moves are not good. They're just straight up, they're not viable in a fight. They don't have range and they don't have hit priority. And that causes people to want to use that whirlwind. You've got to give Taz that hit priority. You've got to give Taz that maybe some more range, something to reward that kit, or like maybe that little thing that cooldown that turns him into a turkey. Those things I think would be like you can buff those and adjust those to give Taz more of an interesting kit than a whirlwind spammer. But he is also a beginner character, and you're gonna see that in just a moment when I start to reference Finn once I give my final thoughts. So yeah, all right. With that, we got the last one, which is Velma. They decreased her weight, reduced from 70 to 63. It was an oversight on our part that Velma is one of the heaviest characters in the game. She was nearly heavier than Iron Giant, which is kind of nuts. This change should bring her more in line where we originally envisioned her. This made Velma a more viable pick, honestly. This made her, because you could stay in and you could use your megaphone, or you could use your speech bubbles to do damage and stun lock characters and fight them from such a far range off the side of the map that if a character didn't push you, they were punished. And so you saw a lot of people who would just, if you see a Velma, they're going to push you and collapse on a Velma and try to knock that Velma in a team-based game. But I still think Velma will be viable. I still think Taz will be viable too. I think Iron Giant is I think he's out. I don't think you're going to see much Iron Giants anymore. I'm going to try him out. I'm going to give him a test, but should be pretty interesting. Now, the big thing that's not mentioned here that we may have glossed over, my final thoughts, is Finn being in the new free character rotation. If anyone's played Finn in this game or faced Finn, you know what I'm talking about. He can combo you for infinity. He has these weird hit priorities in the game, and he has this weird ability to juggle you and combo you with range that attacks aren't really hitting you. And that needs to be fixed. I'm pretty sure it will be fixed by Season 1 drop. But the ability for that man to have hit priority and be able to launch and deal damage, the only way to beat Finn is to time your dodges and predict what they're going to do. What happens is they do the down X or down smash attack, like regular attack, and then they launch you into the air with the juggle, and then they can up hit you and then launch you, juggle you into another special. And a good player will abuse that to get a knockout. I don't think Finn is a skill-based character, and maybe he should be. But because it's the open beta is starting soon, and the new free character rotation is Finn, you're going to see 800 Finns. I'm not joking you. How you see Taz and how you saw Iron Giant, you're going to see a lot of Finns, and you're going to see a lot of Supermans, I think. People want to be Superman, people want to be Finn, but they're also going to realize that these kits are very viable. Superman can be punished. Finn, on the other hand, it takes a certain amount of skill to beat even a bad Finn player. So that's it for my patch notes review, guys, and reaction. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I thank you very much for watching and tuning in. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe and do all those nice juicy things, and you'll get a free cup of coffee from me one day if you do that. If you comment, tell me what you're hyped about for the open beta. I'm excited, man. I'm definitely going to be working on some videos and some content for Multiversus. So if you guys like that, thank you. Appreciate you. Have a good day, and see you in Multiversus.